Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage, and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. We'll be discussing what we think is going on with this move down and where we see it going. Okay, so let's get into the charts now. Previously, what we were talking about was within the structure, looking at this move down in a couple of ways. We were talking about the possibility we could have 1, 2 here, another 1, 2 here, and then looking for this as potentially a 5-wave move completed from this point 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into these lows here. So if that's the case, effectively what we have is that potential for one more fourth wave and a fifth wave to the downside. It's possible that we could argue this is completed into this high that we have here at this 27,882, and we could be starting this leg down, which should look to take us towards this 26,946 to this 26,660. So what I'd be expecting here, if this is starting to break down from here, from this point, basically is to see this play out as a 1. This is a 2. Then I'd want to see a move down for that wave 3. We don't have that yet, and it's actually managed to hold this low here. So it is possible that this correction is not completed. So we're going to go over some potential areas that could target out. But if we do see a drop down past this 27,039, what I would then be looking for is this move to become a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5, looking to break into this lower range here of this 26,946 to this 26,660. So if this is, however, just an A wave, we're forming a B wave here. Potentially what we could then see is still pushing up into this higher range of this 0.382, which would be this 28,378. And this would also potentially look to come and retest some of the structure here. This would also be good because it would invalidate the potential that we have another 1 and 2 here, and we have a deeper extension. So we're going to go over that in a second. So this is the one way we're looking at it. The alternative to this, is that we could be looking for a third wave that's still in progress here. And what this would mean is that basically now, instead of counting this move at the top here as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, potentially we are still forming this blue fourth wave. If this is the case, that rejection area is much the same, and we've actually come up into it. What I want to see now is whether we actually start to break down. That zone will be pretty much the same here, and we're looking for that potential to actually come back down into some of these lower ranges. I just want to double check that this is in the right place. So I need to adjust this slightly. So this 26,955 to this 26,673 sort of area. So, this is what we want to see if we are looking for that continuation. We want to see this potentially form another 1, 2 here. Fails to take this high, then we start forming additional structure down into this area. So the key thing within these two different counts is if we do move down into this zone, if we just get another 3-wave move to the upside, then it's possible that we could be still setting up for a lower drop, which could look to take us down towards a zone of this 26,360 to this 25,907. If this does extend deeper, it could even lead to a retest of this 25,211 area. So this is what we're keeping an eye on here. If we do start to extend out even more here, potentially we could come back and retest some of these lower ranges. What I am looking out for, though, however, is the potential that we could turn around. So the turnaround would only really work within this instance here, where either we count this as a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into this low as an expanding diagonal. The problem with this is that it doesn't really have a great shape because this came down quite deep and it's basically extended past this trend line, which can happen. But what I'm looking out for is if we do start to get bigger moves to the upside, and potentially find support here and then start to move up in some kind of a corrective manner and only form a 3-wave move up into this zone of this 29,969 to this 29,262 area. What we could be setting up for is a bigger drop here. So that bigger drop could either be a corrective structure where this move basically becomes an A wave, this becomes a B wave, and we get a C wave, and then potentially come back down into some of these lower areas. If I throw this down onto that 0.618, that 1-to-1 would be this 26,529. And obviously, if we do extend down deeper, this 1.618 would actually be towards this 24,819. If we do break down like this, so if we get a bigger move up here and then break down deeper, start to lose this 25K area, it becomes more likely that we've got an actual bigger 5-wave move to the downside. And we'd have to start, being cautious that if we do have this as a bigger 5-wave move like this can be a flat A, B, and C, and then we look to turn around. Or alternatively, this whole move could end up being just an A wave where we get this whole move down play out as an A, we get a B up, and then we get continuation down in a C wave. So that's going to be the important differences here with what we're looking for. We haven't actually taken this low, and we were talking about that potential of that flat. So we've actually come into the area that these can turn around as well. So we need to just be careful that we're not going to see this turn around. That 26,000 area is still looking quite interesting, all the way down to a retest of this 25,211. But really, the support zone is anywhere between this 26,000 and this 21,191. If we do start to break down deeper here, we'll be keeping an eye on this bottom channel line to see if we get an interaction on it. We are just above the 50% line here as well, which is currently sitting towards this zone of this 27,149. If we did have that additional drop from here, that could potentially bring us into this middle channel line, and then we'll have to see how we react from there. If we just get 3-wave moves to the upper side, it would indicate to me that we are looking for continuation to the downside. So this would be looking at the idea that within this structure, we have this as a 1, all of this is a flat for a 2, and then we're looking for that potential of a 3 or a C wave to the upside. If we start to lose 21,191, the whole move starts to become less likely, and then we would have to fall back to our last sort of support zone, which would be this 22,217 to this 18,430. So the way that this would work is that if this was going to be our support zone, we'd have to argue that within here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a 5-wave move. And this would then mean that we're looking for, an A, a B, and a C. So this is why I'm looking out for this possibility of getting a bigger extension here. If we do get a bigger 5-wave move down here, this could then become our A wave. We get a B wave up, and then we get a C wave, which would look to actually come back and retarget some of these areas here. Also, like we discussed in the previous video, if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, what we could then see is A, B, C, which would hold this low and still be potentially setting us up for a possibility of having another leg to the upside. Whether that proves itself as a 3rd wave or it ends up just being another 3-wave move to the upside, then we'd have to reevaluate it from there. But ideally, what I'd want to see is if we're looking for that impulsiveness, I want to see basically this either be a 1, 2, we break that higher high and get out of this channel and potentially start to gap to the upside. Or alternatively, if this whole move is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we want to come back down and find support above this 18,430 area. If we start to lose this, it starts to basically fall apart. The move starts to fall apart, and we'd have to be very careful about, the possibility that we could actually set a new low here. Okay, so one of the other things that I just wanted to discuss within here is there is always the potential that we could be extending out a lot more than we are anticipating, and we can't rule that out really until we start to take some of the key highs. So the biggest extension potential comes within this, where actually we're still within a 3rd wave, where this is 1, 2, and we're actually still within a bigger 3rd wave here. This would be indicating that we have a lot more to come down here. So the one I'm currently tracking, because this would actually adjust all these other counts to the downside, is this orange count over here. So this would be looking at the possibility that for as long as we fail to actually take this high of this 28,308, what we could have set up here is basically this is a wave 1, 2, another 1, 2, and setting up additional 1s and 2s here. So this, the price action has to prove itself here. And basically, if we move above this high here of this 28,308, it would invalidate this possibility. But for as long as we fail to do so, it's possible that we could just have a corrective move up here, and then we start to break down in a bigger way. If we move down past this 26,023 area, and we form a direct sell-off here, what I'd be looking out for then is this fourth wave towards this 26,719, and then having an additional fifth wave. So this is the danger we have until we actually start taking some of these key highs, is this move could still be extending out, and we could be looking for a much deeper five-wave structure. So until we actually start to take some of these key highs again, we need to just be aware that this can continue to extend out. What this would then do is this would basically make this blue third wave come into this lower region here. We'd get an additional fourth and a fifth. Then we'd get an additional fourth and a fifth within the yellow count here. And what this would do is basically just drag that price even deeper. And if this is the case, what this would then mean is that within these internals here, potentially we could argue then that we have 1, 2, all of this is 3. We'd get a 4 and a 5, an additional 4 and a 5. And that could actually look to come back down and, come directly into this bottom channel line. So this is what I'm just keeping an eye on here. If we do break down like this, what we'd have to do is basically see how we react afterwards. If we just form three-wave move to the upside, that would indicate continuation to the downside. If we start to form five-wave structure, then we could still look at this as that potential flat correction here and looking to actually find support and push to the upside. It's obviously too early to say, and we haven't had really any substantial breaks back to the upside, which have invalidated any further extension. So we're just going to have to be careful here. This is not my primary expectation, but I am monitoring it to see if we do actually start to extend out further, because we do have a little bit of strange structure within this area here. So it's just a little warning light that's come on within this structure for me. So we're going to have to just play it by ear and see how that goes. So if we are looking for that potential to break to the upside, what I will be looking for here is effectively something like this, where if we do have a low set in here, what I want to see is something like this, where this actually becomes a wave 1. We get a wave 2 to the downside, finding support above this 27,297. Technically speaking, we've come down to the 0.618 already, so potentially this could look to move up. But the way it's moved up is looking very corrective, so I'm just being on the lookout here for that. We could have something like this as an A, B, and a C, in which case we could look to drop towards this 27,313. Test some of these levels and then look to push up again. If we do push directly up here as A, B, and C, what I'll be looking out for is this 28,040 area. This could then lead us to have a complete corrective structure to the upside, where we would then argue that this was a W, this was an X, and then potentially form a W, X, and a Y here. And we come back up into this 1-to-1 zone. If we do, however, come back down deeper and we take this low again, what I want to see is if we hold support above this 27,297 and then look to push away. If we do look to push away, potentially we can argue that within here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we have a three-wave move down. And what we'd be looking for then would be to see whether we get a 1-to-1 move, either up to this 28,053, giving us a bigger A, B, and a C pattern, or alternatively, this would then be a bigger 1, 2, and if we do push up to this 28,520, looking for a fourth and then that fifth wave to the upside, which could look to bring us into this zone of this 28,812 to this 28,631. So this is the way we can look to break out of this area, but I wouldn't want to see us come back down below this 27,147. Doing so would either mean that we have some kind of a more complex structure here, where this is potentially a B and a C as a flat correction, or alternatively would mean that we're starting to break down, where this becomes another 1, 2. We're going to be looking for that 3, 4, 5, and that continuation to the downside. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. As well as that, you will find affiliate links for both BT and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. If you don't have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.